Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're cracking open what is literally the most classified file in the entire Galactic Archives. We're talking about a story of absolutely profound betrayal, jaw-dropping evolution, and ultimately the most radical act of forgiveness you could ever imagine. We're diving into source material that details a time when the universe faced this totally unstoppable threat. And the crazy part? The only hope left was a civilization that had been completely wiped from the history books. So let's just jump right in and uncover how a forgotten myth became the galaxy's absolute last hope.
The galaxy was dying. Talk about plunging right into the deep end, right? That is the horrifying reality facing the cosmos in the source material. A relentless, purely destructive machine race known as the Void Swarm has just emerged out of nowhere. And they are unlike anything the established galactic empires have ever faced. I mean, their fleets are endless, they have absolutely zero interest in diplomacy, and the worst part? Their weapons instantly adapt to literally every single defense the galaxy throws at them. It's just this creeping dread, a slow but completely unstoppable march toward total annihilation.
12,000. Let that number just sink in for a second. That's how many star systems the Void Swarm consumed. And notice I said star systems, not planets. Every mighty empire that stood its ground, every huge coalition that tried to fight back, they all eventually fell to the Swarm's relentless advance. The sheer math of the destruction is honestly mind-boggling, and to put it in perspective, it perfectly sets the stage for the sheer, absolute desperation that's about to consume the remaining survivors.
Okay, let's dive into this timeline because the speed of this collapse was just terrifying. The powerful Zeph Coalition, they surrendered after just 6 months. The mighty Varkon Empire wiped out across 300 worlds in just a matter of weeks. The combined armada of the Galactic Council was completely shattered. You've got millions of refugees fleeing from system to system, and as we look at the present day in our timeline, the Void Swarm is a mere 3 months away from the galactic core. Think about that. If the core falls, the whole shebang ends. The panic is absolute.
So, it's right in this intense atmosphere of impending doom, inside this chaotic council chamber filled with desperate arguments and flashing red warning holograms, that an ancient alien historian stands up. He's trembling, but he cuts through all that panic with one quiet, intense sentence. There may be another option. He activates this ancient, dusty data crystal, and suddenly, a forbidden symbol appears on the screens. It's just a simple, blue sphere. Earth.
Now this is where we hit the central mystery of our story. When that blue sphere popped up, council members literally gasped. Some were terrified, others were just confused, totally believing humans were just myths. And why is that? Well, because of what the council called the Great Silence. Every single record of humanity had been deleted from the Galactic Archives, monuments destroyed. Speaking the word human was straight up forbidden on entire planets. Which makes you wonder, right? How does the most powerful civilization the galaxy has ever known become a forbidden ghost story?
Well, the historian reveals the shocking truth. 5,000 years ago, way before the Void Swarm, there was an enemy that was actually even worse, the Devourers. These guys were a force that collapsed stars and burned entire galaxies, nearly wiping out all life everywhere. And humanity? They stopped them. Not as part of a giant coalition, not with a Galactic Council backing them up. Nope, they did it single-handedly. They were the ultimate protectors, a species with absolutely unparalleled combat prowess and unyielding resolve.
So the obvious question a council member asks is, wait, if they saved everyone, why were they erased? And the historian's answer is a total gut punch, because the galaxy feared them. See, after defeating the Devourers, humanity's sheer power was terrifying to the alien leaders. Their tech had completely bypassed known science, like they could move planets and extinguish stars. The leaders of the galaxy were absolutely terrified that humanity would just wake up one day and conquer them all. So, as the ultimate reward for literally saving all of existence, the alien leaders betrayed their saviors, exiled them beyond known space, and destroyed every single record of their existence. Brutal, right?
5,000. That's the number of years humanity spent in forced isolation. Exiled in the dark, totally forgotten by the very people they bled to save. Just let the weight of those centuries truly sink in for a minute. But now, facing total extinction from the Void Swarm, the Galactic Council realizes they banished their greatest protector, and so they're forced to launch this desperate, incredibly risky emergency expedition into the unknown to basically knock on humanity's door and beg for help.
The suspense of this expedition is just palpable. They're sailing off, one surviving ancient map, deep into dark space. No stars, no planets, just emptiness. Until, suddenly, sensors pick up the impossible. Now, what's really interesting about this is the impossible energy wall stretching across light years, and behind it, they don't find some primitive, struggling colony. Oh no. They uncover a thriving, hidden civilization that has spent the last 5 millennia preparing.
Because this wasn't the Earth of their history books. Humanity didn't just survive their exile. They evolved beyond imagination. We're talking gigantic planetary engines completely covering the Earth's surface. They built massive orbital rings and constructed entire artificial suns just floating right there in the void. Earth wasn't just a planet anymore. Over thousands of years, humanity had turned their entire homeworld into a colossal, unimaginable starship.
Immediately, the alien expedition is surrounded by thousands of enormous human warships, each one larger than a moon. The alien crew is terrified, of course. They're begging for help, desperately explaining that the galaxy is dying, and the initial response they get from the human communication channels, it sends absolute chills down their spines. A calm, cold voice replies, "After what the galaxy did to us?" The tension here is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Why on earth should humanity lift a single finger to save the civilizations that betrayed them, erased them, and left them out in the dark?
So the expedition is brought before humanity's leader, and man, the confrontation that follows is heavy. The leader listens quietly to their pleas, surrounded by technology that rivals entire galaxies. And then he lays out the inescapable truth of their shared history. He says, "You erased us, you abandoned us, you forgot us." And there's just no argument the aliens can make to that. They literally lower their heads because they know they have absolutely no defense. The betrayal was real and it was absolute.
But just as this heavy realization sets in, an emergency message interrupts them. The Void Swarm has officially reached the galactic core. Billions are going to die in a matter of days. The human leader looks out at the stars, and in this incredible, pivotal turning point for the narrative, he smiles. He says, "Humanity does not save the galaxy because it deserves saving. We save it because it's the right thing to do." I mean, wow. It's a monumental, awe-inspiring choice of radical forgiveness over bitter vengeance.
And then, the portal opens, humanity pours out into the galaxy. And we aren't just talking about a little rescue squad here. We are talking millions, no, billions of warships emerging from hyperspace. Ancient dreadnoughts, mobile fortresses, literal planet killers. And their technology? It flat out ignores physics and enemy shields. Entire swarm fleets just vanish in these massive blue flashes of light. For the very first time in their history, the relentless Void Swarm actually retreats. All of this sets up the ultimate sci-fi showdown. It's like a clash of titans. On one side, you have the Void Swarm's final weapon, a command vessel larger than a planet, so powerful it literally dims the stars around it, transmitting this chilling, unfeeling message: organic resistance is futile. And on the other side, humanity's flagship, which is Earth itself, transformed into the greatest warship ever conceived, with its planetary engines ignited and ancient weapons fully awakened. It's this epic, impossible duel between a cold, calculating machine and the fiery, ancient spirit of humanity's homeworld. The machine vessel fires a beam capable of destroying whole worlds, but Earth's shields absorb it like it's absolutely nothing. And then, Earth fires back. A brilliant blue beam pierces the darkness, striking the swarm's command ship head-on. Cracks spread across the machine's surface, and seconds later, it detonates in this massive, blinding explosion. The shockwave ripples across space, and instantly, every single remaining machine shuts down. Just like that, the war is over. Humanity saved everyone. Again. In the aftermath, the dynamic of the entire galaxy fundamentally shifts. Weeks later, the Galactic Council approaches humanity once again. But this time, not as fearful rulers or harsh judges. They come with profound, genuine gratitude. The Great Silence is finally broken. Ancient records and histories are completely rebuilt. Monuments are restored across millions of worlds. And the name human is spoken proudly across the stars once more. Their legacy is finally made whole. But amidst all the giant planetary engines and exploding starships, the source material grounds us with this really touching, quiet moment. A young alien goes up to a human officer and asks, "After everything we did to you, why did you come back?" And the human simply looks toward Earth, smiles, and says, "Because humanity never leaves people behind." It's totally the emotional anchor of the entire narrative. It proves that their unbelievable technological might was actually completely secondary to their spirit. So, the crucial point here is that as billions celebrated their survival, an undeniable truth became incredibly clear. Humanity's greatest asset wasn't their artificial suns or weapons that broke the laws of physics. True strength isn't weapons or technology. It's the willingness to protect others. It's that huge capacity for compassion and duty, even toward those who had once literally cast them into the dark. It is a profound, beautiful lesson, disguised as an epic space opera.
Which leaves us with a lingering, provocative thought to close out today's explainer. Put yourself in humanity's shoes for a second. If you were completely erased from history, banished and forgotten by the very people you saved when they came begging for help, would you still return to save the ones who wrote you out? It's a heavy moral dilemma, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the archives, and I will see you in the next explainer.